let's go.
Hi, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and stampartconnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I have some friends that have daughters and granddaughters that are graduating. I've received some invitations, so I have to get busy making some graduation cards. So this is the card that I'm going to make. Now you will recognize this card because I believe it's featured on Sam Calcutt Mix-Up Craft, but it's a much bigger dimension. The sizes are very different. So I wanted to create a card that was going to be 5.5 by 5.5 square. That would be the right dimension for using 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I have all my dimensions here that I'm going to share with you, and we're going to put this together. Now this can be made with any color cardstock. If you happen to know the colors of your graduate, you can make any kind of combination to kind of go with their high school or college colors. I have some glimmer paper. This is gold glimmer paper that I used, and I used this font here, which is from the Wanted to Say dies, and I have all the different sayings that it said: feel better soon, happy birthday, celebrate, and you are too kind. So this is the dies, and I just pulled out the celebrate because I kind of like the way it kind of fit on this nice pretty gold glimmer paper. The stars, I believe, are from, and I believe they're from the same, I think they're from the same thing, as I use the stars from here, as well as this little tab, or rather this little tab, this little tab here, which is what I use for the little top of the miter cap, the little graduation cap. This is actually from the uh, mini pocket envelope dies, and there's a little piece in here that I used as circles in order to cut that. Now you have tons of choices for your tassel. I'll show you how to make a tassel, but the tassel you can make are either in the gold, which is kind of what I did with this one, and this was just some gold thread that came with Stampin' Up, as well as I had some green and white. And I believe one of the girls has a green and white color scheme for her high school, so I thought that might be look good as a tassel. I also have one that is that I made that is black and white, which I thought might be another cool idea. So any kind of baker's twine, and if you have baker's twine that happens to be kind of variegated into the colors of your graduate, well, that's even a bigger bonus. So that's an extra place to look for your products. Now, I'm also pulling in these classic matte dots. I believe they're retired, but again, always go to your stash. Take advantage of those sales that Stampin' Up! Has and stock up. But I'm used the little dot to kind of put on the top of mitered, my mitered cap. And I used a black dimensional to put it on. These are the peel and stick foam adhesive sheets. Now I use the foam adhesive sheet for my gold background on my lettering so it kind of pops up. But I'm also going to use it because this hat is actually 2 layers. And I'm going to take a pen, I'm going to use a sharp, and I'm going to color. I didn't have black foam adhesive sheets, but I'm just going to use a Sharpie, and all I want to do is I just kind of want to get rid of that white and just kind of blacken that a little bit so that it kind of flows in with my design. Now on the back, I had fun, and this is where you put your sentiment. I use the Day to Celebrate stamp set, and what I did is I took 2 stamps and put them on a block. It's a good day to celebrate, all day your way, and that's going to be my sentiment. So I have them set up and lined up on a block, and then I just used some mini stamp pads just to kind of give it kind of a fun rainbow look. So that is what I did for that. And then this stands up very nicely as a wonderful pop-up on a desk, dresser, or bookcase. All right, so you will need some basic black cardstock, some of the foam adhesive sheets, some glimmer paper. You will need the dies for your sentiment here, celebrate, and that is from the Wanted to Say dies, as well as Day to Celebrate. This is a celebrations stamp set that came out, I believe it was this last year, or any other sentiment that you want to use. And I am using some gold glimmer paper and some either yarn, some thread, or some baker's yarn to make your tassel. And then I think I'm going to put it in a bag, and I have a bag here. I'm not going to make an envelope. I think I'm just going to put it in a bag because it fits nicely in. And this, again, this is old. You can just put this nicely in this right here, and I think it'll make a wonderful presentation. I'm just going to put some gold ribbon on top, and I might even do some other things with it as well. But it's ready to go. I can put it in, and if it fits, it ship envelope so it gets to my recipient. Okay, so I'm putting together 2 cards. I have all my pieces cut out. So you will need, let me go through them. You will need 1 piece 5.5 by 11. Now the video that Sam Calcutt did was a card, I think it was 6 by 6. So you need kind of an odd length in order to make that card. So that's why I opted to figure out the dimensions for a 5.5 inch square card. So that's what you'll need, 5.5 by 11. This is the only piece that's going to get scored, and we'll do that here in a minute. Then you're going to need a back piece. That's the piece that's on the back of this card, and we're going to cut this down. And this is going to be, it's 5 by 5. That's going to be the back piece that we're going to go ahead and cut down. Then, as we're looking at our card here, you're going to need, let me get this out of the way. You're going to need this placard, which comes here in the front, and that white placard is 5 3/8 by 2.5, and that's going to set right there. Then on top of that, you're going to get a piece of black, and that's going to be 5 1/8 by 1.5. Now I popped it up on dimensionals. You could use the foam as well. And then on top of that is another layering piece of basic white that is 4 7/8 by 1 1/4. And that is what our celebrate is going to go on. And this is where our stars are going to go. For our graduation cap, so you're going to need a piece 4 by 4, and that's going to be the base of the cap. Then the cap itself is going to be 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and that is going to be cut out on the foam, and we're going to use a marker to go ahead and mark that all the way around. We're going to adhere that onto this layer here, and then this is where our button and then where our tassel is going to come off. So those are all the layers that you need for putting together the card. Of course, we're going to need some baker's twine or some thread to go ahead and put together our tassel. The last piece is this little piece here that I've cut, and I put two pieces of cardstock together and I was able to cut two, and I'm just going to build these up together to make the middle part of our graduation cap there. So you need at least one. I think I'm going to use two and kind of glue them together so that they have a nice tall dimension to them. And of course you're going to need the glimmer paper. I've already cut out my base in gold glimmer paper, and I've used basic black to go ahead and cut out my celebrate. Now I did not use, the glimmer paper is on the foam adhesive, but I did not use the regular adhesive sheets for the celebrate. I'm going to use glue, and any glue that you have that has a very nice thin nozzle will work, which will hold perfectly, just because sometimes trying to use that foam adhesive sheet and trying to pull off the letters kind of distorts the paper a little bit. It's kind of hard to apply on your base. So I chose not to do that. But if you like doing it that way, then you do you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm just going to pull in my scoreboard here, and I have both pieces. So I'm going to score 2 3/4. Five and a half, 8 1/4. And I'm going to measure the middle of this, 2 3/4. We're just going to mark that 2 3/4. This one here is going to be 2 3/4. So we're going to grab our X-Acto blade. We're going to pull in this to this 2 3/4 right here. And we're going to do that right there as well. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to mark the middle of this at 2 3/4. Mark the middle of this at okay, then I'm going to grab this, and we're going to, now I can either grab, using a steel ruler, you're going to score an X across the middle panel from one corner to the other, going through that middle score line that you've marked at 2 3/4. These are going to form your score lines for doing your folds. Okay. Okay, let's do that. So now, so this goes. I found the easiest way to do these folds is to first take your bone folder and just crease all the different folds across that middle. And then you're going to be able to fold kind of a mountain valley mountain fold where those two triangle pieces come forward and it forms a diamond, and then you're going to fold down that top triangle piece, and that's going to be the panel that you're going to use to glue your graduation cap. Okay, so those are my two, the base of the card. Okay, so now okay, so I'm just going to take these two layers here, and I already cut out Celebrate. Just going to do now. One thing that I like to do is I like to take this and I like to add a border. I like to add a border. Now I've cut these out of basic black cardstock, and using a fine tip glue, I'm just going to add just enough glue along the different pieces and it will adhere nicely on my glimmer paper. So if you wanted to add a piece of foam adhesive sheet to the back of this panel, you can, but I just used some black dimensionals just so I could pop this up on that one panel. Okay, the steps for constructing the graduation cap. I take a piece of foam adhesive sheet and I'm going to mark that with the piece that's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 because that's going to be my top layer. And then I'll go ahead and cut and then apply my cardstock to that. The other way you can do it is just to simply put the cardstock directly on the foam adhesive sheet and then cut around it so that you can just cut off the white pieces. But after you put this on, you can go ahead and trim around that square piece as well. And then before I adhere it to my base, which is 4 by 4, I'm going to use my pen to go ahead and color that white foam all the way around the edge. Then I'm going to mark the middle of that top piece so I can have the point where I'm going to add my button and where my tassel is going to come out of as it goes from that edge to the end. Okay, so I glued this down and it was kind of met, right? It met the corner of that. And if I have any little white spots, so then let's go ahead and apply this one. So here's my top. I'm going to put the glue right here on this area. Just take that corner. Just going to meet it up right there. Okay, so there's that one, and there's that one, and I've already marked my middles. So now we're going to grab these pieces here, and we're going to apply those to our base. Okay, so now I have those. So this will connect. You can see how these will just hold right there. So now I can take my stars and this one I'm just going to turn this one upside down. Okay, so that one is this way, so I'm going to turn this one around. And do it that way. And just before I put the tassel on, I'm just going to turn this around, and this is going to go right here. And I'm just going to mark this kind of mark that. Okay, that's going to go there. So I can mark this one. Okay, so now I'm just going to, we're going to grab our block with the stamps, and I'm just grabbing some ink spots from my paper pumpkin, and I'm using Poppy Parade, some Berry Burst, and some Shy Shamrock. And I can also take a Stampin' Write marker if there's any kind of color that's missing in between. And I can use that as a really pretty way to kind of add some color to my project. I'm doing the same here and making sure that I got my edge, and voila, there you go. Now for my other one, I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm going to start with the yellow first, and then I'm going to add the Poppy Parade and some Shy Shamrock on the outside, and that's going to give us kind of a different effect. There you go. So I take those two little cutouts that I made. I'm going to do a circle, cut them out to a circle as best I can. Then I'm going to stack them up and kind of glue them together so it kind of creates a bit of a button. And some of them already have the little black piece in the middle didn't fall out, so I'm just going to leave it there because that's going to help the little embellishment I'm going to put on the top stay there. Now for making the tassel, I took 3 fingers and I wrapped this around about 10 to 12 times, and I made my own variegated color using a green and a white together. And I just want to make sure that my little loops are open. Then I'm going to wrap the last part around about 5 or 6 times to kind of create a nice thick band around the tassel, and I'm going to cut and use some glue to adhere that, and I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. Now I'm going to take about 6 inches of baker's twine, and here I'm just kind of layering these together because I wanted to get green and white for this these school colors. I'm going to use a crochet hook. I'm just going to kind of feed it through my loops, and that's what's going to help me to tie off the top of my tassel. Now I want my tassel to be glued to the edge of my graduation cap, so I am going to use that middle mark that I made. I'm going to make a nice thick line of glue, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay my tassel end right along that line, and that is going to secure my tassel to my cap. Okay, so now that we have those are good and dry, I'm going to go ahead, there's our middle, snip those. And there is where my little thing is going to go. So I'm just going to put a nice okay. And then we're just going to let that kind of flop like that. I need to put a little bit more glue. I can. Maybe I want to put a little bit more glue right up in here. Just kind of let that kind of. Okay. So while those are drying, what we're going to do is we're going to make some tags. So I'm going to grab some, this is some old paper product that I had, and I'm just going to add that. Okay, so I have these 3 here. Then I just have some extra stuff I can add to the back of this. So I'm just going to grab, using my mini cutter, I just want to make sure that my tags are 2 inches wide so they can fit into my tag punch. Okay, so then okay, so here's the final reveal. This was the card that I had originally made with the gold fringe, and I've went ahead and signed it, so I'm going to put it in a bag with some pretty gold ribbon. Then these are the 2 that I just finished, and these are for they're actually twins. So I just made the 2 cards, and you can see this is their school colors. How really cute. And those come out cute. And then on the back, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign those. So these are the cards, and then I have a bag with the tag for each one of the girls. Then I thought, for this one here, I went ahead and I made a little book that will accompany the gift for this graduate. And I made this using using this paper here, which is the Florals in Bloom. I use this paper to create these 3 books. And these are going to be their gifts. I've added here, I put a grommet in the back. You can get these off of Amazon. These are little pieces that you can put a little pen. This is a little gel pen. Again, you could find that on Amazon. And then I just got a piece of cord, and there it is. So you open it up, and it has little pages. It has the index card pages. It has a folder with a tag. Now this gold here is it's in the new catalog. It's from the metallic texture rub-ons. So I just added a couple of hearts and then some gold, as well as a little sentiment that I had. So that fits nicely in there, and that's 4 inches by 2, the tag. And then I have, these were parts of a tag set, and I just went ahead and stamped a stamp there. And again, just some pages, some folders, just some tags, another tag here. Now this sentiment came from, and I'm going to show you the set. It came from this set right here. This was a memory notebook kit. I just had all the pieces and parts that I saved, as well as the stamp set that I just kind of threw into a box, and this is kind of where I'm pulling out some of the items that I'm using for these tags. It has a really cute stamp set that has some wonderful little things that are kind of perfect for this kind of project. So again, go into your stash, look for what you have. There's paper, again, cards from Memories and More. And let me just show you that these were from the Remember This Moment Memories and More card pack. That's kind of what I used for these cards, and just some little index cards that I cut down that are just add some color. This was just again, this is a piece of specialty paper that I had from an old, I think it was a Celebrations card pack. Again, I just threw some things in here, some index cards. These are the wonderful little stamps that come with that set that I just kind of threw on there. And another, let's see, I have another tag, and I'm using this nice paper, and again, just some stickers that I had. More paper, another card, paper, and then some nice vellum in the back. So that is this gift and this gift. And then what I did is I just got a grommet here, and I just added some elastic cord so that you can very easily just kind of tie that around your book, and it's ready to go. This one, same thing. I use the paper, and then I use the back for my back lining on either side, and it was the same thing. I just threw in paper. These cards from this Remember This Moment, I believe these were on sale, so take advantage when you see those sales. Little folder here with a tag I made with the DSP, and look how cute this Be beautiful. No, cool. That was a little tag that came with that other kit that I never put together. Smile every day. I stamped that very easily. I just added some little, of course you see all my little paper clips with my tool, and I just wanted to add just some extra things in here that have some nice paper. It's the little things that matter. Again, a nice card. And then I threw this one in as well. More paper. Another card I just stamped. And then this card. Now this is that gold that comes from the gold piece that comes from this metallic textures rub on. I just want to show you how pretty you can kind of dress up a tag or any of your cards. And again, just some pretty tags, some paper, more paper, and then here's a tag here using the paper from the lining. And more tags, and then just paper, and then I use this mercury vellum that I had for the back, and then I added a little pen back here, so this closes nicely. So there's this gift. There's this gift for this graduate. I have this gift for this graduate, and then for my other graduate I made this one, and I used some blue elastic with a little grommet in the back. Again, just finding some nice color coordinated little tabs that you can get in Amazon in a little gel pen. And just another different paper lining, and again just more papers. I have some vellum sheets in here. I made a pocket here, and this is, and again I used one of those gold strips just to kind of dress this tag up. And then I have a tag back here, more paper, as well as some pretty fluorescent paper. I have this piece that folds out, another tag. I have this tag here. Again, I've just had a little stamp, or I had a little celebrate sticker that I used on this tag, and some really pretty ribbon. This ribbon is available right now in the catalog. And then just added just some more paper. Pretty card, memories are everything. That came from that other set. And then this ribbon here with again a sticker I had from an old kit. I just added that one there. Pretty sentiments here, paper, and then the last of the paper, as well as another little card with some paper. So this one is the gift for this graduate. So 3 gifts, as well as these lovely cards put together for my graduates as my gift for this graduation season. I hope I've inspired you to create something for your graduate this season. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection, and stampartconnection.com. If you haven't already, please hit like. All products are available on my online store. There will be a link. Go to my blog for project details. If you are looking for a demo, please consider joining my team. Consider joining as a hobbyist. and enjoy a 20% discount. If you are a demonstrator and like my content, please support my channel by hitting like, share, and leave a comment. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection at stampartconnection.com. Happy stamping.